All right, here's character generation. I'm probably just going to call this character Tony, let's say. Okay, so let's talk about luck. I just played a luck build in Fallout. I've played the game before, and the previous game that I did was a luck build. And it's technically, I think my build has a name. I think it's called the Lucky Idiot. And the idea here is that you increase your luck up to 10, and then you keep your intelligence as low as possible. And the reason you do that is because there is a perk or like a power that you can get if your luck is increased and your intelligence is minimized. You can get a perk called Idiot Savant. And Idiot Savant says you get an XP boost when you do certain random activities because you're so dumb. I guess you're it's very easy for you to learn and get bigger and better because you're so far down on the scale that anything you do might be something you could learn from. You don't know anything at the start. So it's called Idiot Savant is the perk that you get. Lucky Idiot is the build. It's as much luck as possible and as little intelligence as possible. It helps you to get levels early on in the game because you get these little XP boosts. And so I played this one not only because of the XP boosts that are important in survival mode, but I also played it like this because there is something else that luck does for you. And that is, it is really good for people who are not good at shooters. If you don't like playing shooter games where you're pointing guns and you're trying to be as quick as possible, it's like Twitch gaming where you're just going as fast as you possibly can. If you don't like those games and you were thinking to yourself, maybe, I thought the Fallouts were more like role play stuff. Like I shouldn't be trying to, it shouldn't be a shooter game. That's not what Fallout is. If that's your thinking, then a luck build is probably good for you. Because the other big thing that luck does is it does a lot of work with VATS, or Vault-Assisted Technology. VATS is a system you get. It's like a mechanical system from Vault Tech that allows you to sort of slow time, hone in on a target, maybe even target limbs or things like that. Like maybe you hit the legs so that you can slow them down from running towards you, or maybe you hit the head and just try to end them immediately. But shooting head target is usually a little more difficult. But the point is, with VATS, you can avoid the rapid-paced, hectic shooting element of the game. You can drop into VATS, you can slow time, you can carefully place your shots, and then you hit OK, time speeds back up, and you watch your character pick off all the enemies. That's really nice if you're not good at the shooter element in the game. And so VATS will not only, a luck build will not only give you plenty to do with VATS, but it gives you lots of variation and fun stuff. One of the options I think is called Grim Reaper. And it says that if you land a kill shot while you're in VATS, if you kill an enemy while you're in VATS, there's a chance that your whole action point bar could refill. Now, I may have the details a little bit wrong on that, so it may not be exactly what I just said. It may be that it's refilling your criticals. I don't remember what it's refilling, but it's kind of neat just to watch all these systems that you've put points into, all these perks that you've selected. It's kind of neat to watch them all start to come to fruition. And when you do this, sometimes the fights get really exciting and enjoyable because you just watch as all these powers start triggering and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm like a god of war. And you can have a really good time if you want to do that kind of build. Having said that, I just did VATS and just did luck. And it was a great character, very fun, but it's not what I'm going to do for this build. For this build, I'm going to focus on incredible survival. My hope is to never die in the game, but again, I'm not going to hold myself to that. If my character dies, it's fine. I'll just load up and we'll keep going. But I'm going to I'll keep my death count as low as possible. It'll still probably be dozens by the time this thing ends. But if I can keep it under a dozen, that would be amazing. So how do I have a character that doesn't die? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into agility. We're going to set agility to 3. Why are we setting... That's kind of noisy. Let's That's a little quieter. Okay, so agility of 3. What does agility of 3 get us? Well, when you take points in one of your skills like agility, charisma, intelligence, it unlocks certain options that you can later select. And at the 3rd rank of agility, you have an ability called sneak. And sneak allows you, the 1st rank of sneak will just let you be more stealthy. But the 2nd and 3rd rank of sneak give you the ability to ignore landmines, and then following that, ignore tripwires. Or I think I might have that backwards. I think first you ignore tripwires, and then later you ignore landmines. In survival mode, everything is more dangerous and deadly. You can probably only survive 1 or 2 or 3 bullet shots before you're dead. So it's possible to just somebody unloads a gun into you and you're just dead, and there's very little you could do about it because it'll happen so quickly you can't react. But often with bullet shots, at least the first shot just wounds, and often you can keep going from there. But with a landmine and a tripwire, you very often can't. Landmines and tripwires, there's no 2nd or 3rd shot. The first shot kills you immediately. Because of this, there's no way to have a playthrough where you never die if you are allowing yourself to get hit by landmines. The moment you cross one accidentally, you're dead, it's over. So if you're trying to do something like a never die game, a never die version of survival, you have to get sneak so that you don't accidentally just trigger an explosive device and kill yourself. Now, let's talk about intelligence. This one's going to go all the way, maxed out at 10. Why would I max out intelligence to 10? Well, first of all, intelligence has a lot of really good perks in it. I think gun nut might be in intelligence. Gun nut is the ability to modify the guns that you get. That is super important. If you're trying to do the game in survival mode, the game sort of has an expectation of averageness, which is basically you're a really good player if you're in survival mode, you're trying hard, but you're also, the game's sort of expecting that you're just kind of the guns that you find on the ground, the guns that you find on enemies, the guns that you pick up as you're going through the game world, those are the guns you're using. With gun nut, you basically get to say, no, I will make the gun be more than what's expected. It's going to be stronger than what's expected. And you add mods to the gun, you extend the gun, and this can allow you to get a leg up. But that's actually not why I'm picking intelligence. Instead, at rank 10 of intelligence, there is a perk called Nerd Rage, and it's an important perk. So here's what Nerd Rage does. The first time I played through the game, I didn't have Nerd Rage, and I was really confused as to why the game was not giving me an alert when I got close to death. My character's about to die. Some monster is gnawing on my leg, and I don't realize, because I'm in a frantic gunfight trying to shoot him to death, and I don't realize he's got my hit points almost down to nothing. I'm about to die. And in other games, when you do that, especially for my dad, if you remember when we used to play Diablo together, the whole screen would go red if you're about to die. There'd be, it'd be sort of like a blood layer would be on the screen to sort of give you an impression of like you're in trouble. But in this game, nothing. You could be 1 hit point from death and there's no sign that you're about to die. And I always thought that was really weird. Like, that's such a failing or shortcoming of Fallout that they don't have some interface for that. And then I learned that they do. It's just that they put it behind intelligence at rank 10. At rank 10, you get Nerd Rage. And what Nerd Rage does is when you're within 20% of death, so you have 20% of your hit points left, 19% of your hit points left, 18% of your hit points left, you're getting down there. When you're getting close to death, it slows time, kind of like what VATS does, where VATS will give you the ability to slow time in combat. But this is automatic. You don't have to select it. Just when your hit points get down, time will automatically slow and you'll get buffs. Your stats just go through the roof. And the idea is we'll give you a fighting chance. You're in trouble. The game will give you visual display as time slows so that you know that you're in trouble. And you're going to get some boosts that will maybe get you enough strength, health, whatever, that you could turn around and run for your life, or maybe if you think the enemy's near death, you just blast them as much as you can while you're in slow-mo and see if you can win that way. So basically, I'm taking intelligence because it's the warning system. And if I'm going to play in survival mode and try to not die, I need a warning system because I will get near death many times over if I'm not careful. Okay, so charisma. Charisma is the traditional thing that people pick in the Fallout games. Fallout 1, 2, 3, New Vegas. Charisma does a lot in your social skills. It does a lot to help you negotiate your way through interactions with other NPCs or other characters. In Fallout 4, it does do that. But Fallout 4 has been sort of derided or it's disappointed some people because the conversation system wasn't so hot. You have a maximum of 4 options in any conversation, and it's felt limiting. And so some people who play Fallout 4 don't put anything into charisma anymore because they just don't feel it's worth it. And then they just go through the game as if it's a shooting game. They just hail of gunfire, go through the game, blow everything up, and take your victory through force of arms. However, in survival mode, not only is charisma important because it can give you some like a leg up in conversations, but also at level 6, at rank 6, it unlocks something called local leader as an option. And what local leader does is it allows you to work with settlers and work on your settlement to increase the fruitfulness, I guess, of your settlements and the connectedness or power of your settlements. And here's how it does that. One of the ranks in local leader will allow you to have provisioners or people on your settlements who will sort of run a caravan between the settlements. It's a little bit like Skyrim, that video game, if you've played that. Dad, the idea in Fallout 4 is you potentially could restore the Commonwealth, or what we currently call the Commonwealth of Massachusetts or Massachusetts. In Fallout 4, it's now known as just the Commonwealth. And one of the things that you can do in the Commonwealth is you can try to restore it a little bit. You can try to get some civilization going, some settlements going. And one of the really useful things as you start to establish settlements is to have them share resources. You don't want to have one settlement that has all the wood and one settlement that has all the steel, and you can't build in either settlement because you need both steel and wood. That would be ridiculous. So have them sharing whatever options they've got, whatever loot they've got. I think there's another rank in charisma, maybe in the local leader perk as well, where you can also start to set up stores. You sort of start to regain some commerce, and you can have people setting up shops for guns, shops for armor, shops for food, shops for clothing, medical, doctors. Now, there's another reason I care about settlement building before I jump over to endurance. And that is, in survival mode, I'm going to die. Like, it's hard. And one of the things you can do that's nice about settlements is you can set up turrets around the perimeter of your settlements. Just get them all around the edges of your settlements. And then as you venture out of your settlement to go see what's in the world, when you get overrun or overwhelmed or you get really badly hurt, you can just hightail it back to your settlement. And if there are bad guys who chase you down, you can hope that the turrets that you set up around the perimeter of your settlements will take over and take those bad guys down. Because of that, survival mode sort of fosters this idea of, I really want to have settlements. I really need to have settlements. They'll keep me safe and alive. When you're playing the normal game and you're not on survival mode, it doesn't matter that much. You can do the minimum with a settlement and you don't have to worry about it. You can set your charisma down to 1. You don't have to worry about it. You can take, all the other stuff is fine. But I'm in survival. I care. So we'll keep that at 6. Next is endurance. We want endurance to go up to 5. In survival mode, you can catch diseases, you can get sick, and the more your endurance is up, the better for that. It'll help ward off problems. But on top of that, at rank 5 of endurance, that's a little noisy too. Let's go back to charisma. It's a little quieter. Okay. at rank 5 of endurance, you get something called AquaBoy, or if you're playing the Nora character, you get AquaGirl, but same deal. The idea is with a rank in AquaBoy or AquaGirl, you can go into the water, even radiated water, ruined water, and you're mostly okay. And I think the lore behind that power might even be that you grow gills. Now you might say, how in the world are we growing gills? Is this like what kind of silly game is this? Well, it's a post-apocalyptic game, and it's a post-apocalyptic, oh my gosh, I can't say the word. Post-apocalyptic game that is set in a world where it turns out nuclear power is a little different from our nuclear power. In their game world, nuclear power doesn't just kill everyone and everything in the end and everybody's sad. In their world, it causes wild mutations like you might see with Spider-Man getting bit by a spider or something like that. Like you could potentially get superpowers or live a really long time. And so with AquaBoy and AquaGirl, what may end up happening to me is I get a mutation and I am then able to stay underwater for an extremely long time, maybe forever. And I don't drown. I don't need to hold my breath. There's another level to this perk of AquaBoy in which I think if I take 2 points in AquaBoy, when I go into the water, enemies will lose track of me. They sort of like peel off and go in other directions. Where did he go? And they don't stay with me and wait for me. So that might also end up being useful to me. I probably won't take that right away, but it is useful if I'm going to be playing in survival mode where I could potentially, I could die a lot. It's nice to have an escape route. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point into perception. I really need a lot of points in perception. I need perception up to 8, actually, because at level 8, there is a perk which I think is called Sniper. And Sniper basically says, if you are shooting targets from a range, from distance, you get a small chance to knock them over. And I think you can put multiple points into Sniper and you can increase the chance that you will knock someone over. Why does that matter? Well, it's kind of like a poor man's version of a stun lock. Because if you can shoot someone at range, then what'll happen is they fall down and they stay down for maybe, a second as they struggle to get back up. The thing is, though, while they're down, you can keep shooting them. And it's possible you'll knock them down again. And if that happens, they get in this terrible cycle where they're just getting shot on the ground and they try to get up and run at you and stop you, but they can't because you keep knocking them over. And once they're down, you shoot them some more. And so they try to get up and run you over, but they can't. And so you knock them down more. And it's real bad for them. And that's real good for me because I'm trying to get every advantage I can in the game. Now, I can only put my perception to 2 because I'm out of points. But we'll slowly build toward getting 8 points as we gain some levels in the game world, and we'll get better and better as we go. So this is the character. I put the points this way for obvious reasons. Hopefully you guys have got this all sort of sorted out. Don't forget, this is not the only way to build a character in survival mode. There are all sorts of really good ways to build a character in survival mode or in any mode. You could be in normal mode, easy mode. Don't forget, like I said, luck is one really good build for people who are not good at using guns in video games. If you're just thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to do a lot of shooting in this dumb video game, max your luck out. Take every perk you can get, all the perks in the luck tree, and try to see if you can have yourself, whenever combat happens, have yourself slowing time and taking, a casual like stroll through all the enemies and picking body parts and choosing what you're going to do with your guns and taking them out. Anyway, I think that's probably an interesting way to go. But for me, for right now, intelligence very high, charisma sort of high, endurance sort of high. We're going to try and get some perks that I'm hoping for, and we're going to see if we can survive in survival mode. Okay, so it says R for accept.
Wonderful. That's everything. Just gonna walk this over to the vault. Congratulations on being prepared for the future.
Thanks again.